All right, guys, what's up? What's up? Hey, we're going to be talking about today why calories aren't making you fat. I know you heard me say it right. Really, guys, calories are not the problem. So today's video, we're going to go into why that is. What we want to do is we want to help you give the right information. We want to give you the right accountability and motivation that will help you create habits in your life and translate into long-lasting results in your health and fitness. With that said, hey, we're going to get into the topic at hand. It's going to be really good, guys. If you do have any questions, feel free to put them in the show or in the comments below. We'd love to answer those questions. If you're listening to this on a rebroadcast, we'd also love for you to put some of those comments in there, and I will get back to you. We just want to help give you this great information. Today we're talking all about calories in and calories out and why that just doesn't work. Really, it's just setting people up for failure. And it really creates a lot of mental struggles and mental battles that people have to deal with that causes lack of belief in themselves. It really causes just a bad self-esteem issues just because we have this bad relationship with food. It's causing us to look at food in a bad way. So just think of this one concept before we get started, just logically thinking. If I had a handful of broccoli and I had a bunch of soda here, do you think that that's going to act differently in my body? I would say so, right? So just the idea that it's all about how much you're eating just plays a small role. In reality, what I want to help you understand is that it doesn't matter how many calories you eat if you don't digest, assimilate, and absorb and use them for energy like you should. That's the real problem. It's the fact that our body isn't really using those calories like it should because we have a lot of damage going on, and particularly hormonal dysregulation. So that's going to be the real topic at hand is hormones. So hormones, let me just give you just a basic idea of what's really going on in terms of how your body is responding physiologically to food. So hormones regulate your entire body, guys. They're going to tell your body when to store fat, when to burn fat. They're going to influence your digestion. They're going to influence your mood. They're also going to affect your thought process of, like, if you have anybody else ever had like brain fog out there, they're just whatever. Those are all due to hormonal issues. It's going to affect your sex drive, obviously. You know, if you think about it this way, it's kind of like a thermostat. It's a good analogy, but a thermostat, you know, if it's hot in the room, the thermostat's going to kick the air conditioner up to bring the temperature back to where it's supposed to be, right? Well, if it's cold in the room, it's going to do the very opposite, kick that heat up and kind of bring it back to in balance. And that's what the body wants to do. The body wants to stay in a balanced state. It wants to stay in a homeostatic state. And so it's going to, when you put different stressors on there and you're throwing different things at the body and you're damaging the body, it's going to try to handle it by regulating it like it should. So what I'm trying to get at is, if you think about, like, I talk about insulin resistance, I talk about inflammation, and those two are correlated with not being able to really utilize energy like we should. We're going to store more fat when we're inflamed and we're insulin resistant. Okay, those two are going to drive a lot more cortisol and high stress hormones. So you're going to have cortisol and adrenaline going on. The high stress hormones are going to affect a lot of different hormones. So they're all interconnected. So now we have high stress hormones. Your thyroid hormone is going to be affected by that. Now, thyroid affects your entire metabolism. Your thyroid hormone is going to slow down or speed up, vice versa, wherever you have. If you have low thyroid or Hashimoto's or anything like that, your whole metabolism is going to slow down. Your liver function is going to slow down. Your lung function, your cardiovascular. You're going to have brain fog. All these things go along with low thyroid. So you got all those in combination. Not to mention, you're tanking testosterone, you're tanking growth hormone, the sex hormones or the fat burning hormones that you want. You're making estrogen rise out the wazoo. So you're just in a bad fat gaining, fat storing state. You're never going to be able to burn. You're never going to be able to lose weight when you're in that state. So a lot of times people think, well, I just need to pull the work harder trigger. I'm going to just go to the gym more and work out harder and then eat less. Well, what you're actually doing is you're driving more inflammation and more stress in the body, and you're actually exacerbating the problem at hand. And you're trying to lose weight, and you're actually causing more of the same problem that you're in the gym for. It just doesn't really make sense. But we're so programmed, guys, to thinking that it's just about how many calories in, and not to mention then it just creates a whole bad cycle and a bad relationship with food, to where you see, is anybody else, hear people on a daily basis being like, I can't eat that. I got to have a certain amount of calories. Or my wife works at a salon, right? So they'll be like, well, I'm not going to eat all day so I can have chips and salsa at night at the Mexican restaurant. Doesn't that sound kind of ate up? I mean, if you think about it logically. So with that being said, with that topic, think about it, I want to help you understand how your body responds differently to different food. It has so much more to do with what type of food that you're eating, more than it is how much. Your body has mechanisms, which are hormones, to tell your body you're satiated and not to eat too much. But remember also, I talked about last week about whenever you're sleep deprived and you're stressed and you have hormones like ghrelin that actually make you want to eat more, that go up, and leptin is the one that tells your body to satiate your body and tells your body to burn fat, right? Those go down. So again, we're in this really bad fat storing stage, and we want to get out of that. So the key is how do we get our hormones back in balance so everything's working properly, right? It's not just that you're eating too many calories. It's the fact that your body is not able to utilize them, digest and absorb and turn it into energy. So you're just storing more fat. You're not efficient at using what you're putting in. So you could cut a lot of the calories that all you want, and you can work out in the gym more, but you're going to end up still storing more fat because you're not using those calories as energy. So I want to help you create a good relationship with food and realize that, hey, it's fuel for the body. It gives you micronutrients that your body needs to rebuild tissue in your body. It needs to rebuild hormones. It needs to rebuild cells. All these different metabolic functions that are going on. But the problem is that food responds differently in the body. So if you take, like I said, the soda, and you drink 2 sodas highly full of sugar, it's going to spike insulin and drive blood sugar in the body, which in turn, remember, when you're becoming insulin resistant, you're going to store more fat. So you're raising that sugar. And if you remember on a couple other videos I did back a little ways ago, we talked about how when blood sugar is really high and insulin's really high, your body can't oxidize or burn fat. It's going to store fat. So your body's not going to burn fat and store fat at the same time, right? So that's why we want to think about what types of foods that we're putting in our body, because if you turn around and flip it to you're eating broccoli and maybe olive oil, those aren't going to spike insulin, and you're going to be more able to burn fat properly, and you're going to use fat for your main primary fuel source rather than sugar all the time. But most of us, we're constantly spiking that blood sugar all throughout the day, and that blood sugar never comes down low enough to where we're actually able to burn fat. I hope this is making sense. But thanks, Paul, man. Hey, I appreciate you jumping on, dude. Thanks, Zoli. I appreciate you guys have been such a support of Final Start Fitness, man. Hey, I don't take that for granted for any one of you that are on here. I saw my sister Trish jump on. For anybody else that I missed, man, hey, thank you guys so much. But it's so much more, again, about what we're eating and how your body responds differently. We want to get our body primarily, used to burning fat and being a fuel burner, not a sugar burner. So if we're constantly eating sugar throughout the day, it's never going to allow us to burn fat, and we're going to be craving more of that to help bring blood sugar back up. And we just create this vicious cycle where we're craving more of the wrong foods at the wrong times, and we're eating all the time. And if any of you are like me, I did the typical bodybuilding diet for quite some time, and I did okay. I did really well with it. I'm not going to knock it, but I was eating a lot of high protein, lots of carbohydrates, anywhere from 250 grams of protein a day, and I was eating upwards of 300 grams of carbohydrates and more lower fat diet. And I did that for a while, but man, hey, I was ravenously hungry every 2 hours. And man, I felt like I was going to punch somebody. Anybody feel me? almost knew what time it was based just off my stomach. I'm like, hey, it's 10 o'clock, smoothie time, got it in the refrigerator, whatever. So, you know how that is. But when you actually get your body and lower that insulin and you start to utilize fat for fuel, you stay satiated for so much longer, and it actually calms and keeps you normalized, right? And so, hey, guys, I just really want to encourage you. It has so much more to do with what you're eating, the quality of food, and then keeping the stress out of your life, managing those other lifestyle factors that I talk about all the time. If you're highly stressed and you're getting poor sleep and you're going to the gym all the time and you're cutting your calories, that's just a recipe to store more fat and cause more inflammation and cause more of the problems and cause the very thing that you're trying to accomplish. It's actually exasperating that problem. So if you could take one thing away from this video, is just you don't have to be so concerned about all the calories. Start thinking just about building those habits in your life that are going to help heal your body. When your body's operating properly, guys, it'll utilize those calories very efficiently like it should. You're going to be able to put on more muscle. You're going to raise your basal metabolic rate, which means you're going to burn more calories throughout the day because you're putting on more muscle. But if you're highly inflamed and you got all these other hormonal imbalances, it just becomes almost impossible. And I just want to help you get rid of those mental cycles, the mental struggles that people find themselves in over and over again, because really they're just, like I said at the beginning, it's all setting you up for failure. And then you think like you're the problem, and then it creates a low self-esteem, and you're like, man, I could never do this. And then you fall off the bandwagon, and it really digs another notch in your belief that you could ever achieve, losing weight and getting your body back and feeling better, right? This is the stuff I see all the time. And so if I can help you free you of that burden, that's what the whole goal is. Hey, if you guys have any questions or comments based off this, hey, thanks Coach Ketter for jumping on. I appreciate the thumbs up as well. Coach Ketter was coach softball back in the day. I used to kind of help the girls out, like stay after practice. She probably, I don't know if she remembers that. I think I remember one time getting socked by a softball, like somebody overthrew it. It was, and like hit me. But anyways, that was back in another life. But thank you so much for jumping on, guys. I really appreciate it. If you have any other questions or comments that you'd like to know, and hey, thanks Justin for saying you're the man, but I think you're the man. I appreciate you for jumping on. Justin's a huge student of the ketogenic diet. The dude stays at 4% body fat all the time. I don't know how he does it, but no, I appreciate it, man. Freedom is amazing. Trish, I totally agree with you. Trisha, man, she's been working with me for right at a year. I'm going to just give you a little bit of backdrop of this little story, and I won't try to keep you guys too long. But Trisha, I called her up a year ago, almost exactly, and said, hey, Trish, I'm reading this book. You got to read it. And she's like, Jason, I'm dying right now. I got to do something. I'm all in. Tell me what to do. And remember, hey, I'd been working with her a couple different times, and she fell off the bandwagon. It wasn't her time. So this time was her time. She's like, okay. I said, okay, Trish, I'm going to shake your hand. You commit to me to developing these habits for a year. And I promise you, you're going to get results, and we're going to get you where you want to be. And she shook my hand and said, I'm all in. This time it's all in. I'm not making any excuses. She shook my hand, and that was almost a year ago. Since then, she's right down about 70 pounds, guys. That's so dramatic. And we're working with some underlying hormonal issues and some infections that are going on internally right now with her that kind of made her plateau a little bit. But again, she's got the right mindset to stay the long course. And so that's just a great testimony to see she's starting to feel that freedom and what it's like to not be in bondage to food and have these mental struggles, because she's developing these habits and staying consistent in her life. And she's developing the consistency that's developing the belief and the wins for her. And now she's building that self-confidence. And I've watched people saying, hey, Trish, you're looking great. And it's just so cool to see it on her face. You can see that little twinkle in her eye, and she's just smiling. So I'm just so proud of you, girl. That's a great testimony. I know Rhonda jumps on here a lot, man. She's had some amazing progress. Justin Carlson, gosh, you took a lot of this ketogenic stuff just to heart, and I saw you get results just dramatically. And guys, and he started developing those habits, and it just all goes back to those little key things that I talk about all the time: nutrition, exercise, sleep, stress, and toxins. One of the things I was talking about with Dr. Ashley on the podcast that we just put out is hey, if you're highly stressed and you got all this inflammation, hormone, sometimes working out harder can actually be counterproductive, and it can put more stress on you. So that might be the key thing that you need to pull out a little bit. Get some more rest. Start healing your body. And it's really hard for people to comprehend that because they just think, oh man, I know exercise is good, and it is. But if you're highly stressed out and you're inflamed and all these problems, and you have digestive issues, and you have underlying maybe overgrowth of bacteria or mold exposures or heavy metals going on, these are things that can drive hormonal imbalances. And you just, again, you need to heal your body. Sometimes cutting back and doing less can be your thing. But you got to figure out what it is out of those 5 areas. Start setting some goals around it. If your area is like you're only getting like 4 hours of sleep a night, well, let's start and try to say, hey, let's add maybe another hour. Try to get to bed an hour earlier tonight and make that a habit. And then start kind of increasing increments from there. Each month, if you do those little habits, you would have changed a ton of habits in these lifestyle factors, and your body's going to look totally different. You're going to feel different. Your body composition is totally going to change. So, man, hey, that's all I got. But man, you can tell I'm jacked up about this concept, and I just want to keep giving you guys this information. Like I said, that's pretty much all I have. Feel free to share this with all your friends and family. We're getting ready to do the ketogenic weight loss challenge. That's coming up November 3rd is the registration, guys. So it's going to be a weight loss challenge. It's going to be a great jump starter for people that want to lose weight and really get on the right track. It's going to have everything from a periodized program for nutrition, and your workouts are all going to be loaded. We're going to do Facebook Lives in a special group just for this ketogenic challenge once a week, and there's going to be a topic for each week. It's going to have a full meal plan, all the goods for $99. The winner is going to receive 10% of the overall pot, guys. So it's going to be great. My goal is to get 200 people at least involved in this. If we get 200 people, the pot's going to be $2,000. So you'll be able to win like at least $2,000. If we get more than that, which I think very could be, the pot's just going to keep increasing. So I'd love to see you guys register for that. You're going to be able to go to our website at finalstartfitness.com. You're going to be able to register there, and you're going to get all the specifics on what to do in the process it takes to go along. So I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for jumping on here. Please share and like these. We want to get the information out as much as possible. We're going to bust out of here. God bless you guys. Bye.